Hey everyone, this is AJ and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of AJ's Ranking again. Yes, this is episode... I don't know where I'm at with these. Because I haven't done one for a few weeks. I could have had a look, but I'm too lazy. So this is episode whatever it says in the title. I'll do that after. So it's a bit of a special one, this, because it's a sort of a collaboration episode in that I'm sort of not collaborating with Matt over at Matt V's Movies. Go check out his channel. I'll leave a link in the description below. But what we've done is had a little chat outside of YouTube, and I said, wouldn't it be interesting if we done a ranking for these films, dropped it exactly the same time, so his is available now, and we can see how we differ in how we would rank these movies. So yeah, it's sort of collaboration, non-collaboration in that sense. I haven't told him how I'd rank them or where I put them, and he hasn't done the same with me. So, and that's the wonderful thing about rankings, is that no one's opinion is the right opinion, although my opinion is the right opinion for me. And your opinion would be the right opinion for you. So I'm sure that Matt's is going to be somewhat different than mine, and I'm curious and interested to see what his will be. And in all likelihood, as you're watching this, I'm watching that. Yeah, so good, great stuff. So anyway, so now all these films, I am looking at the live action Spider-Man films. Into the Spider-Verse, I'll sort of discuss at the very end a little bit, but I'm looking at the live action ones that we've had, the 7 films through Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and into Tom Holland. Now I am seeing No Way Home tomorrow, as in Wednesday. Wednesday the 15th, I've got tickets for 9:30 in the morning, and I will be coming home and I will be doing a review of that movie. And within that review, I will tell you where I would slot that film within this ranking. So great stuff. So anyway, let's not waste any more time. We've got 7 films to rank here, so I'm going to give you my opinions, a brief opinion on these. But like I said, I have reviewed all these films over the past 7 or 8 days, and you can go back and I'll give you a bit more in-depth talk into my opinions on these films. So check that out if you so wish. And like I said, don't forget to check out Matt's channel. So anyway, so let's get to it. So 7th place. So my 7th spot, 2014, is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, I'll be honest, on repeat viewings of this film, most recently, I struggled to get to the end. I didn't even make it to the end. I was so unenthused about this film. Now, the effects look great. Andrew Garfield is fantastic in this film. His performance is top notch. Andrew Garfield, I'll be honest with you, if I was ranking the Spider-Man actors, I would probably be putting Andrew Garfield at the top. He's a wonderful actor within Spider-Man. He's got great physicality to him in that he's not very bland in the way his performance, in the way he talks. He uses his environment in scenes, as in like when he's Peter Parker, he's using his environment. I'm not talking about Spider-Man swinging around using his environment. I'm talking about Andrew Garfield as an actor, like talking from behind trees when he's like a bit of nervousness, talking to Gwen Stacy, or a bit of cuteness, you know, this sort of thing. So fantastic. But unfortunately, the film is in last place because it is so convoluted. There's so many characters introduced, and you had this Sony meddling that went on that made this film the mess that it is. And not only that, you've got this subplot from the first Amazing Spider-Man and then into this one revolving around Peter Parker's parents that subsequently goes nowhere because the film series ended after this movie, and thusly we're left with a film that feels like half a movie, and you don't get the concluding part of this silly story they decided to do revolving around his parents. But so for me, this is the last spot. So that means dropping down into number 6. and that is from 2007, and that is Spider-Man 3. Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire, the third Spider-Man film from their franchise. Now, again, the problem with this film, much like The Amazing Spider-Man 2, is there's just too many characters. They introduced too many new characters within this film. You had Sandman introduced, you had Eddie Brock introduced, you had the alien symbiote introduced, you had Gwen Stacy introduced. You've obviously had Harry Osborn as a villain. You had, there's just a whole wealth of stuff going on, and the plot is so contrived, full of conveniences that ease the plot along, that it's just really, really abysmal and poor. Topher Grace was poorly miscast as Eddie Brock. You've got the stupid decision to have the emo Peter Parker stuff, and he does a dance routine that's something out of the Mask with Jim Carrey, this sort of a thing going on. Now, the problem with this film is that Sony had this mandate, and they meddled with this film, and they forced Sam Raimi, the director, to put Venom into the film when Sam Raimi didn't want to put Venom into the film. Sam Raimi just wanted to focus on the classic characters. It's a mess. Sam Raimi actually writes this film with Ivan Raimi. They are two of the writers on it, which they didn't write the others, and that was a mistake to have Sam Raimi write the film. I'm not knocking Sam Raimi. I love Sam Raimi, but he weren't the right person to write the movie. There are some fantastic scenes within the film, the birth of the Sandman, things like that, but ultimately this film is a convoluted mishmash mess of a movie. There are some positives, one being the Harry Osborn storyline, which culminated out of the other two films and gave you a conclusion. His character arc across the entire trilogy of the Sam Raimi trilogy was fantastic, but beyond that, it's not a very good film at all, and again, quite a difficult watch. So, dropping down into 5th place from 2012, The Amazing Spider-Man. Yes, Andrew Garfield's first film. Now, I quite enjoy this film. I do have issues with it, but I think it's a darker take on the character. Andrew Garfield, again, like I've already said, he's a fantastic, fantastic actor. But he should never have been a younger Peter Parker. They should never have told the origin story again, and do all this mystery stuff with Peter's parents. Why can't it just be that Peter's parents are gone and Peter's being raised by his aunt and uncle? Why have we got to have this mystery around it, and Peter's parents having something to do with the spiders that created Spider-Man? And again, that's just all stupid nonsense. Like I said, the film is darker in tone, and it does look very good. Although the lizard, the design of the lizard isn't particularly great. He doesn't look very good, and all this sort of a thing. Yes, it's an okay film. I mean, it's sort of very middling sort of film. I know some people don't like it, some people do. But when I watch these films, the Amazing Spider-Mans, on the one hand, they're not particularly great films, but on the other hand, Andrew Garfield is fantastic in it, and as is what's-her-face who plays Gwen Stacy. She's fantastic, and watching them two is a joy, but the films themselves are not particularly great. Now, dropping down into number 4, and some of this might, surprise some people, but there is a big jump in quality between 5th place and 4th place. So all the films below this are very, very good films, although I do enjoy Amazing Spider-Man to a degree, but below are a whole lot better. So 2017 Spider-Man Homecoming. Yes, I've had to put this in 4th place, and it was quite a difficult decision to make, but ultimately this is a very good film, but I find it difficult to get through on rewatch because the storyline is actually rather weak within it. I mean, I can't knock the cast. All the cast are fantastic, doing a great job. The film is vibrant, it's lively, it's edited very quickly and this sort of a thing. A lot of laughs are to be had in it. Michael Keaton was fantastic as the Vulture. One of the best villains in a Marvel film. But ultimately, on repeat viewings, I do struggle with the film and to get through the film. There's too much of a reliance on Iron Man, Tony Stark, this sort of a thing that's not needed. And the film does start to drag in places. So that's my fourth spot. So then dropping down number 3 is Spider-Man Far From Home from 2019. Yeah, I put this one above Homecoming, even though Homecoming's got a better villain. I prefer Michael Keaton as an actor to Jake Gyllenhaal. I think this film flows better. I like that Peter's taken out of his comfort zone, although the last film wasn't really set in New York or anything like that. This film, taking it abroad into Europe, seeing different Spider-Man in different environments is very good. There's some great character development within the film between Peter and MJ, and between Ned and what he gets up to. Happy Hogan with Aunt May, and it's all joy to watch, and it's wonderfully directed. Fantastic special effects. Obviously Sam Jackson's in it, and he's always a joy to watch. So that's my third spot. So dropping down to number 2 now. We're going to go with Spider-Man from 2002. The very first Spider-Man film, Tobey Maguire. Now, I do think that some of the dialogue is rather clunky in this film. It's not as quick and witty as Far From Home or Homecoming, but ultimately, it's narratively speaking, it's a stronger film. I think the other films, I become spoilt by the MCU and the MCU giving this combined world. So it's nice to drop back sometimes and just have a singular hero in a world of no other heroes and this sort of a thing. Spider-Man, 2002, this opened the doors for superhero films. It is a fantastic film. Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin. All right, the Green Goblin doesn't look very good. Looks like a Power Ranger villain, but ultimately Willem Dafoe's performance within the film is second to none. It's fantastic. When he's flitting between Norman and the Goblin in the mirrors, and the facial expression and all this sort of stuff, it's just really, really good. And this is a good film. It is a good film. A classic as well. And then, so dropping down in first place is Spider-Man 2, which, what can I say about Spider-Man 2 from 2004? Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus, perfectly cast. This film is one of the best superhero films made to date. It's a fantastic, fantastic film. From beginning to end, to have a character actor like Alfred Molina playing Dr. Octopus was fantastic. He gives his character life, he gives his character depth, emotion, and, his interactions with Peter are fantastic. All in all, an amazing looking film. It is the best looking of the trilogy, the Sam Raimi trilogy. The third one, the special effects did drop down a bit in comparison to this one. But this one is just fantastic. And my all-time favourite Spider-Man film. A very emotional, packs a punch, that emotional core. Great set pieces, the scene with the train, all this sort of thing. It's just a very, very good film. So that's it. That's my ranking for the Spider-Man films. Now, Into the Spider-Verse 2018. I didn't include that in this ranking because it's a different beast altogether. It's, it's hard to put that in context with these other films because it's animation compared to live action. But if I was forced with a gun to my head to say where would I put the Spider-Verse film, I would go in second place. Yes, I would go above Spider-Man 2008, and I would go in that second spot because Into the Spider-Verse is a fantastic movie. Wonderfully animated. It's not made like a animated film. It's not written like an animated film. The characters all have little quirks that you would actually get out of a performance from an actor. If all I can suggest you do is you watch this film and you imagine it being live action. There are a few areas within where, like when Peter B. Parker and Miles Morales being pulled along by the train and he's hitting things and all this sort of thing. That's straight out of a sort of comedy cartoon. But for the most part, if you imagine this as being a shot-for-shot made into a live-action remake, the film works. The script works for a live-action film. It's an amazingly written and animated and directed movie with a lot of emotion, a lot of heart, a fantastic character in Miles Morales, the alternate Spider-Mans, even Peter B. Parker, all very, very good. So a very, very good film. But yeah, so I just wanted to mention that as a sort of, you know, where it would go in my opinion. But ultimately this was for the live action films. So like I said, Matt's done his, and I would have watched it by now. And left a comment on his. So go check out his video and you'll see some comments from me and back and forth with him, no doubt, talking about this. It's just interesting to see another person's opinion without having any, you know, any sort of bias or anything put in the mix. I don't know how he would rank these films. I honestly don't. So very interested to see. Anyway, so this is AJ. Thank you for watching. Please consider hitting the subscribe button, not just on my channel, but on Matt's channel as well. Go over and check him out. He's got a fantastic channel with a lot of wonderful physical media releases that he shows every week or so, and a lot of stuff that I've never seen before. So yeah, great to see. Anyways, AJ, thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, and goodbye.